Hi everybody, it's Gilda. We're going to be doing this little gnome with the star today. So what I'm going to do them in blue and green. If you are doing them in any other colors, it's going to be the same idea, just different colors. The thing that you need to remember is that you go from the darkest of the shades you're using into the lightest. So we're going to start washing this in 476. Now, if you are doing a lighter color, if you are doing the blues, let's say the light blues, then you're going to wash it in 531. That'll be your wash. So what a wash is we just take the color and we thin it way, way down so it looks soupy. See how thin that is? It's just like water. So it's probably 3/4 product to 1/4 water. Okay, that's how, I'm sorry, 3/4 water to 1/4 product. So a little bit of black for this one, lots of water, lots. It's very, very, very soupy. So we're going to base coat this entire piece. We're just putting it on. Some spots are darker, some spots are lighter. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So we're going to apply one coat all over. And then give it, I don't know, about 5-10 minutes of drying time. I'm going to rush through this one so you can see the video. I don't want to have to start and stop. But I would let it set for at least 5 minutes. Just give it a little bit of drying time. We want this to dry a little bit. And make sure that you have no white spots at all showing. So it's completely black or brown, depending on what color you're using as your base. And then just let it dry. All right, so we're going to let that set for a second. So now we're going to go into what brushes I'm going to be using. I'm going to use the number 8 round and then probably a number 5 round. Those are probably the two. If I need to go smaller, I will, but I might have to go to a tiny little round just for that nose because the nose is a little bit smaller. Yep, I got one here. So probably a number 3 round just to get that little nose in and his hands. So what we're going to do first, you always work from the furthest back out. So we're going to do his, I think we'll do the beard first. So we're going to make the beard gray. And whether you're doing, actually it's going to be white, but I'm going to do a little gray underneath first. Just because we're going over the black, I don't want it as hard to build up. So what we're going to do is I'm using 474 to start with. And I'm just going to dip, probably going to go with the 5 round. Just dip the tip of the brush in the color. So we're not loading the brush all the way, tipping the color. Then you're going to work it down on a paper towel. So it looks like there's not much color left, and we're going to dry brush it on top. See how quickly that comes up? Even though it looks like I had nothing left on the brush, it comes up. So we're going to dry brush this gray on. And if you're doing 3 of these together, do all the steps for all 3 at the same time. So we'll dry brush this beard, and then you'll dry brush the other 2. Color wash all 3. Don't forget the hair in the back. Got a little bit of hair back there. So we're going to do that gray first. Then after we get the gray in, we're going to go back over this in white. So gray first, and it's going to take a couple coats. Don't worry about getting it real close. I want a little bit of that black to show through along the edges. It's going to give it a little bit of depth. Okay, and on the back. All right, now we're going to go to a little bit of white, and I'm not going to clean my brush. I'm just dipping right into the white. Work it down, same way, till it looks like there isn't any color left. And then we're going to dry brush on top. Same thing. And like I said, if you're working on all three of them, we're going to do all three at the same time. So all three gray, then all three white. A little bit of white on the back. So we still see a little bit of the gray coming through. And I've hit my fingers there. It's fine. We're going to go over that in flesh. And now we've added that white. So he's got like a gray white beard. And I'll put a little more on there. Okay, and I think we're good. So now we're going to go to the flesh. So we're going to use 443. And we're going to do his nose and his hands with the 443. So it's the same process. I'm not going to wash because I was in white. I'll just dip into a little bit. I'll work it down. And I'm going to dry brush his nose. So we're going to do his nose and his hands. And then I'll go over it with the second coat. Nose. Again, we're leaving a little bit of that black along the edges. So don't worry about getting in there really tight. I want that little bit. Looks like it's been antiqued. One hand and two hands. Again, if you're doing three, do all three at the same time. And I think he's got a thumb right there. That little tiny piece right there is his thumb. So don't forget to get that one in. Now this set we're doing in the blues and greens. So, like I said, I'll give you the list of the way the other colors go for the other ones. But this one's just going to be the blue and greens. Okay, so we're going to do his jacket next. It doesn't matter whether you do the jacket in the green or the hat in the blue, you know, or vice versa, whichever way you want to go. Just remember, when you are applying, you go from the darkest color to the lightest color. So I'm going to do his jacket in the green. So I'm starting with 544. And I'm going to rinse the brush out a little bit and dry it out. So get it as dried out as you can. We're starting with 544. We're going to dip in, work it down, same thing we've been doing, and dry brush on. And it's going to take a couple coats. But these should work up fairly fast. And we'll do his whole jacket. And again, if you're doing three, do all three of them. All with the dark green first, then the lighter green. Okay, so we got the first green on. I'm going to give it 2 coats. He's got little shoes there. And if you hit him with the green, it's fine. Because we're going over those in black. Okay, so that's the 544. And we did about 2 coats. And now we're going to go to 488. That's our next green. It's one shade up, see, from where we were. That was the dark green. Now this is the lighter green. And we're going to go over this again. So we're dipping in. I'm not washing the brush, taking it down, working it down, and dry brush on top. All right, now I want it just a little bit lighter, a little more depth. And every time you add a color, you get it a little more depth in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this lightest green that we just used, the 488. I'm going to dip into there. I'm going to dip into a little bit of white. I'm not mixing them. I'm dipping and dipping. And then I'll work it down. And you see we created one shade lighter from where we were. And I'm just lightly going to hit this with that. And it's just going to add a little more dimension. See that? It just gives it, it almost makes it look like a material. And I think one time will be enough to do the jacket. I don't think you need to reload the brush. I don't think you need to dip again. You will for a second and third piece, but not for one. So it's one dip once around. Okay, so we've got now the 3 greens in there. And you see how I left a little bit of black along those edges? That'll just give it that little antique-y look. So now we're going to do the jacket. And for the jacket, I'm starting with 460. Okay, 460, so dark to light, and then 459. So 460 first. And this is so dark that I'm not going to wash the screen out of the brush. I'll work it down as much as I can to get it out, but I'm just going to dip and work down. Okay, so I got the 460, and I'm dry brushing his hat. If I got a little bit of green on his hair, so I'm going to go back and dry brush some white on there. Yep, just got it on his nose. If you get it on where you don't want it and right away take a clean brush, it'll come right off. It'll pull right up. So get it while it's still wet. Okay, so we've got our blue on. And now I'm going to go to 459, which is a shade up from here. Remember, always darkest to lightest. Let me get some 459 on my palette here. Yep, I'm going to have to open this up. Okay. So again, I'm not cleaning the brush. I'm dipping right into the 459, working it down, and then dry brushing up. And then I'm going to go from 459 into white and dry brush it one more time. Okay, so we're going to dip into the 459, same way we did before with the green, and then dip into white, so we have both colors on the brush. Work it down. Can't stress that enough. Work it down, till it looks like, and always move around on the paper towel. If you go over the same spot over and over, you're just picking color back up. So I want you to work it down and move it around. And then we're going to dry brush that on. And it just gives it a really material look. And I think we're good with our blue. And I got a little bit on his hair. So I'm going to take a clean brush, get some more white, and go back over that beard a little bit more. Beard and hair. Yep, I think I'm going to get a clean paper towel. Okay, clean brush, because I don't want those blues in there. Take it down. And then re-dry brush this a little bit. Just to get it a little bit whiter. Cover up any smudges I may have gotten on there. I got a couple. Okay, he looks good. He's looking good. And I think I'm going to go over the flesh just a little bit more. Because I didn't let this dry, some of that black is still coming through. So I'm going to go over the flesh. If you let it dry, you shouldn't have to. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do his shoes in black. And I just want you to take the black and thin it out a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I want you to do. I don't want this to be stark, just painted on. We're going to do what we call a little bit of a washi coat on there. So we're going to take a little bit of the black, maybe. There we go. Not going to need much of it. And we're going to get a small brush and some water. So I got water in my brush, and I'm going to pull. See how I did this? Pulled it down a little bit, thinned it out, take it down, and then just kind of wash coat this in. It's still going to make them pretty black, but it's not going to be stark. And I just got the two shoes there. Okay, so that's basically done. So now we're going to decide of what we're going to do with our star. If you are going to glitter them, I would dry brush them in white first, and then we'll put the glitter on. If you want to do words on them, which I know some of you have words coming on there, I'm going to have you put the dry brush it in white, put the words on, and then if you want to sprinkle a little bit of glitter on, you can. I will show you. Okay, I just touched up a little bit of the blue there, but I think everything looks good. So we're going to go back to our brush that we were using for the white. Let's see what I did with it. There it is, the white and the flesh. Clean it up, get the flesh out of it, and dry it good on a paper towel. Okay, clean paper towel. You're going to go through a lot of paper towels. Lots of paper towels. Okay, so we're going to dip in. We're going to dip into the white. We're going to work it down, same as we've been doing all along. And we're going to dry brush this star. We're going to have to get a smaller brush to get into that little area right there. So make sure that you have like a number 3 or a number 1 round for that spot. Okay, now I'm going to get a little tiny brush. Let's see what I got here. And I'm going to use that for that little tiny spot there. Oh, here's a little one. Okay, we're just going to dip into the white. Same thing we've been doing, working it down. And that little tiny spot right there. Just double check everything. If I just got it on his hat. I laid it down in the white, so I'm going to have to go over that with a little bit of blue. All right, let me get the blue brush back. There we go. And I'm going to do the blue and a little bit of white. Work it down. Okay, had laid it in some white, so I just had to cover that. Okay, so he is basically almost done. We're going to put snow glitter on him. We're going to add a word. I'm going to show how the vinyl is actually used. Let's pretend this is all painted. You will get your vinyl in a strip like this. Okay, 3 pieces. There's 3 of these guys, so 3 of them. You'll cut your vinyl, you know, the words in half. So you'll end up with a piece that looks like this, okay? And it's on what they call transfer paper. This top paper is called transfer paper. The bottom paper is the backing, and the words are the vinyl. So when you get this, you want to rub it very lightly. It doesn't take a lot. And then you take the backing away from the transfer tape. So the words are sticking on the transfer tape, not on the back. We want it on the transfer tape. And then from there, you put it down once it's painted and dried. Make sure that the piece is thoroughly dry before you do this. And then you put it on, you kind of center it, and try to do it only once. Don't move it around a lot. And then push with your fingers. And then with a pair of tweezers or a pair of scissors, whatever, grab the end and pull up. And that's just how easy that goes on, okay? So you'll get 3 of them. One will say peace, one will say joy, one will say love. And they'll fit on just like that. Once they're on, you're done. So that's the end of it. So now we're just going to add snow and glitter on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 things I want to do here. I want to spatter them. I think it's something you can either do or you don't have to do. I just like the way the spattering looks on the snow. I'm looking for my toothbrush here. Here's one. Okay. So what you would do is take a toothbrush. You're going to put some white on a paper plate or whatever you're using for your palette. You dip the toothbrush in the paint. Okay, so it's on the edge of the paint. And then you take your finger and you run it across. And it just, to me, makes it look like he's in a snowstorm, which I think looks pretty cool. If you don't like this look, don't do it. I mean, this is strictly up to you. Okay, so I've added my little snow all over him, or the little bit of spatter all over him. And then I'm going to take some snow, and you'll have it in a little cup, and you're going to dip. Let's see if this brush is pliable enough. Yeah. You're going to dip. I want to get a clean paper plate. Got something in this brush. I really don't know what it is, because I want to be able to gather this glitter back up. So I'm going to get a clean paper plate. You can use a plain piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a paper plate. Anything that's flat. You don't want to use paper towels. They have little grooves in them, and the glitter gets stuck in there, and you won't get it all out. So let me get my glitter ready. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're just going to tip a little bit of snow here and there. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go on the edge of my star. Just like that. And I'll put a little bit right across the top of his hat, right at the bottom there, by his nose. See? So I'm going to get a little bit right there, get a little bit on his shoes. And then while that is wet, you're going to take your glitter and sprinkle it on top. Okay, and that is it. These are done. I got a little bit on his nose there. Let me get that off. These are done. So that's all there is to these. Now, if you are doing the blues, There's some that are doing just, it's a light blue. We're going to be using Stormy Blue and, I'm sorry, it's Wedgwood Blue and Baby Blue, and then a little bit of Baby Blue into white. So that's all. So I hope you enjoy the project. It's going to make a cute little centerpiece. Thank you.